I'm going to start off this episode with something that might feel a little uncomfortable for you, but maybe also relieving. If motivation based advice has never worked for you, it's not because you didn't try. Definitely didn't try hard enough. It's because ADHD is not a motivation disorder. And I know that's crazy to say. It's actually a learning and access disorder. What most people don't hear ADHD described this way. And that misunderstanding really creates a lot of years of unnecessary shame. And today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about ADHD as a learning disorder and what executive functioning actually does for your brain and why effort has never been the missing piece for you. So, if you ever thought, I know what to do, why can't I just do it? Well, this episode is for you.
Welcome to Mindful Chatting, a podcast where therapy meets real life. I'm Kristen, a therapist, business owner, and a lifelong student of what it means to fully show up in our relationships, in our work, and in our healing. Here, we unpack mental health concepts, explore mindfulness tools, and talk through the messy, beautiful, in-between moments that shape us. Whether you're a fellow clinician, a curious listener, or someone navigating your own growth, this space is for you. Let's chat.
Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Mindful Chatting. Do you have your comfy drink? Because I sure do. Today, we're going to talk about executive functioning, ADHD, as a learning disorder and not a motivation disorder. So, let's talk about learning disability because when people hear learning disability, they often think about intelligence or capability or comprehension. But learning disabilities are about access, the ability to access things in your brain, not our ability to do them. ADHD impacts how our information is received to us, how it's organized within our brain, how it's even retrieved in our brain, and how it's acted on. And research consistently shows that ADHD is primarily a disorder of executive functioning, not of intelligence and not of motivation. And I see this when I assess people with ADHD. They're actually very, very smart. It's just the access to that information is maybe dulled, or access to information within your brain just can't be accessed when you do need it. So let's talk about executive functions first. Executive functions are kind of the brain's management system. It's all about initiating, sequencing, prioritizing, regulating your emotions, but then also sustaining effort to be able to do these things. So, once someone with ADHD struggles, the issue isn't wanting to learn to do the thing, it's accessing the pathway to the action to do that thing. If you're listening to this and thinking, this is exactly what I struggle with, I want you to know that I built something specifically for you. The EF, or Executive Functioning Activation course, walks you through why task initiation feels so hard with your ADHD and how to actually get yourself moving without shame, pressure, or burnout. It's short, practical, and designed for ADHD brains, not productivity culture. If starting is your biggest barrier, this course gives you structure, language, and tools that actually work for you. You'll find the link in the show notes. But this is where things get kind of sideways for people with ADHD because most systems, when we're talking about organization and planning, assume that motivation precedes that action and that discipline will override your discomfort and that effort will equal your outcome. But ADHD brains don't operate on delayed reward. Dopamine in ADHD isn't about pleasure here, it's about anticipation. If the brain can't feel the future reward, it won't activate. And that's why you'll say things like, you'll feel so good when it's done. Yeah, that doesn't work for us. Or just push through it. That will backfire. And try harder actually creates shutdown for you. The brain isn't resisting, even though it may feel like it. It's actually offline. And this is something I see constantly in sessions with clients, and I also experience on my own. Clients will come in saying, I understand all of this. I read the books, I know the tools, but why can't I apply this stuff? And the moment we shift from what's wrong with you to why does your brain need to access this or how can it access this, everything will change for you. Your shame will drop. Your curiosity will open up about yourself. And those solutions, they'll actually become possible for you too.
If you want to understand your ADHD in a deeper way, I've created the ADHD Crash Course, and it walks you through ADHD step by step so that you can actually start understanding your brain and not shaming it. Everything's in small, doable lessons designed for your ADHD in mind. The link is in the show notes.
So I want you to think of ADHD like this. You're trying to learn or execute in a system, but that system is built in linear brains, while your brain works contextually, emotionally, and non-linearly. When you teach ADHD adults about time blocking, you're not including flexibility with it. When you're teaching ADHD adults about planning, you have to think about energy awareness. And when you teach ADHD adults about systems, but without those re entry points, it's going to fail. So we're not really supporting learning here. We're actually creating a lot of barriers for people. And ADHD support isn't about forcing compliance, it's about designing access to structure. So, what really actually helps? So, when ADHD is treated as a learning access issue, supports actually look like this: externalizing information. So, the things that you need, we use visuals and cues and reminders. We will break steps down before your overwhelm hits. We match effort to the capacity that you have in that moment. And we build for the if and not the when of consistency, removing all of that moral language from productivity, like you just need to do it or you just got to hustle or grind through. And this isn't about lowering the bar, it's about moving the ramp to access.
If you're nodding along and thinking, yep, this is totally me, I want you to stop and take a free quiz. I have made a quiz about what's your ADHD struggle, and it'll only take a couple of minutes. And at the end, there's a secret freebie waiting for you that will help you start working on your struggle right away. Look in the show notes for the link.
If all of this is resonating with you, and whether you're a client or a person who has ADHD or a clinician, I created a simple executive functioning awareness worksheet that helps you identify which executive functioning skill is the hardest for you, where maybe that access in your brain kind of breaks down, and then why certain strategies just haven't worked for you. And it's linked in the show notes if you want something tangible to work through this episode with or work with your clients. If you are only going to take one thing away from today, I want it to be this: you were never lazy. You were never unmotivated. You were trying to learn and function in a system that didn't match how your brain worked. And once you understand this, we can stop blaming ourselves and we can start building something a whole lot different. Next week, we're going to talk about effort matching and why equal effort really isn't fair for ADHD brains. But until then, I really want you to be gentle with your mind.